Hello everybody, it's Friday. These beds are not made to be jumped on.
Back to spells and enchantments, potions and friends. To Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, back to the place where our story begins at Hogwarts, Hogwarts.
I'm sorry, what's its name?
Hogwarts, Hogwarts.
I didn't hear you, kid!
Hogwarts, Hogwarts.
Man, I'm glad I'm back.
So once again, we do not have a theme this week, but never fear, because Dallis is here. That rhymes. This might end up being a super long video, because what I'm going to talk about is probably my favorite thing in the Harry Potter universe. That is simply Wolfstar. For those of you who don't know, Wolfstar is the fan name of Remus and Sirius's relationship. The wolf stands for Remus and the star stands for Sirius, and together they are Wolfstar. It's something that's been on my mind a lot lately, mostly because of my roleplay where Sirius and Remus are just adorable all the time. So in the last couple of weeks, I've come up with my own headcanon of like the timeline of their relationship, and I'm just gonna kind of go through and explain to you how I imagine their relationship began and where it went to and like how it ended and all that fun stuff. So the way I imagine their first train ride to Hogwarts went, I feel that Sirius and James and Peter met like on the platform. And they were just like, woo, best friends ever! And they like scampered onto the train together and like got a compartment. And poor little Remus is like this shy little kid who doesn't really know who to talk to. And he's just kind of wandering up and down the corridors of the train trying to find someone to sit with. And I like to believe that Sirius is the one that like finds him, like that first time. I don't know why Sirius is out of the compartment, but for some reason he like comes out of the compartment, runs into Remus, and, you know, maybe he says something about his scars or something. Maybe he goes, hey, cool scars. And Remus is all like, oh, yeah, I fell down a mountain. Or comes up with some excuse. And Sirius is like, that's cool. Hey, come sit with us. I like to think that Remus was immediately charmed by Sirius. And I mean, they're 11, so obviously there's no, like, real, like, romantic attraction between the two of them. But I'd like to think that immediately Remus was just like, who is this kid? I want to know him. I want to, like, you know, spend time with him. And I like to think that Sirius immediately kind of cared for Remus as well, in like a strange way, in a way that like he doesn't normally, like in a way that you wouldn't normally immediately care about someone. Like he kind of felt bad that he was wandering the halls by himself. And so that's how the two of them met. Obviously the four of them, by the time they get to the school, are like already best friends. For the first 5 years of their lives, it's just perfect. Everything's awesome. They pull pranks, and Remus does homework, and Peter is awkward around girls, and God, I keep going back and forth about how I feel about Sirius. James is obviously running around after Lily. Is Sirius running around after girls? I'm not sure. I kind of like the idea that Sirius is just gay. He always has been. But I also feel like Sirius might have, like, experimented with girls. Remus is just kind of like, I don't need this, I'm just gonna study. You guys go have fun with your girls. Also, he's awkwardly kind of like, I kind of love Sirius, that's kind of awkward. Yeah, no, I feel like Remus, by the 5th year, has a crush on Sirius, for sure. So they're in their 5th year, and that's the year of the prank. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the year that Sirius sends Snape down the tunnel. And Remus is furious, in a way that you will never see Remus again. Like, he is the most angry that you will ever see Remus, ever. And he doesn't talk to Sirius for weeks. That is the moment, I think, that Sirius realizes how much he loves Remus. Because the second he's not there, the second he's angry at him, Sirius can't do anything. It kills him when Remus isn't talking to him. And I'd like to think that the weeks that Remus won't talk to him are the hardest weeks of Sirius's life. He can't sleep, he can't eat, he can't, like, go to class, he can't function. I mean, at first, all the other boys are like, yeah, Remus, like, that's fair, you can be angry. But, like, as this goes on, they're like, okay, Remus, mate, you need to start talking to him again. Like, he's going crazy. And Remus is just, like, not having any of it. He's just like, you know what? I have put up with this crap for 15 years. Someone needs to finally tell him that he can't just go around and do whatever he wants. I feel like this just goes on for like a month where Remus won't talk to Sirius. Finally, Sirius just like breaks down one night and he like crawls over to Remus's bed and he's just like in tears and he's just like, Remus, I need you. like, talk to me, forgive me, please, I'm so sorry. I think that Remus he just can't resist Sirius. So he's like, okay, fine, I forgive you. And Sirius is all like, woo! And back to, like, his happy self. And now Sirius is realizing how much he likes Remus as well. But he doesn't want to do anything about it. He's afraid that he's going to do something that will mess up their friendship again. And he's just like, I can't live without having Remus here. So the next, like, big moment in the relationship, I feel, is either in their 6th or 7th year. And something big has to happen to Remus. I like to believe that, I wouldn't like to believe, but I guess in my mind I've kind of always thought it was just like Remus's mom dies. It kills Remus, like, to have his mom gone. And Sirius finds out, and he goes looking, like, Remus has disappeared, like, he's run off by himself. Sirius finds him in, like, an empty classroom or out on the ground somewhere, and Sirius just goes and, like, holds him. And he holds him all day and all week, like, as long as Remus needs him there. And I like to believe that from that point on, they just never really let go. Remus takes Sirius with him to his mom's funeral. Somewhere in that, like, mess of a time, Remus kisses Sirius and is just like, thank you for being here. And Sirius is all like, meow meow meow, and then they, like, kiss a bit. I like that that's kissing. And then they kiss a bit and it's lovely. And now they just kind of fall into this relationship that's always kind of been there. And nothing really changes between the two of them except for now James walks in on them making out on the bed every once in a while. And none of the Marauders have any problem with this, by the way. Both Peter and James are just like, woo, yeah, finally, because they can see it because they're not idiots and everyone can see it. Really, like, all of Gryffindor is just like, yeah, that's right. So there we go. That's the beginning of their relationship. And it's just awesome from that point on. The two of them are perfect together. They need each other so much. They love each other. They have since they were like 11. They graduate from school and they go and get a house together and they live together. And at first it's awesome. And they make each other breakfast in the mornings and they fall asleep, like, cuddled on the couch and all that great stuff. And things start to get really hard. Remus gets sent off to converse with werewolves all the time, and he'll be gone for days without any sort of contact, and Sirius will just sit at home, like, pacing, worrying. And then Sirius will go off for weeks at a time on some crazy mission, and he'll see people die, and he'll see people tortured, and he'll probably be crucioed himself, and he'll come home at the end of the day. And for a while, Sirius and Remus, they have each other, and they hold each other together, and they hold, like, they physically hold each other at night, and they try to, you know, keep away the bad dreams, all these images that they keep seeing. But it's hard, and it tears at their relationship. It kind of puts a barrier between them almost as well, because sometimes they can't talk about what they're doing, especially once, like, the idea of one of them being a traitor comes up. I do feel like Remus and Sirius break up at some point. Someone's a traitor and they can't trust each other and they can't look at each other. They can't tell each other anything because Dumbledore's all like, "Why are you just leaking information so you can't tell anyone anything?" And then Halloween happens and Lily and James are killed, and I imagine that Remus and Sirius meet up for probably the first time in, I don't know, a couple months, a couple weeks. They meet up at the Potter's house, and Remus is obviously, like, super upset, and him and Sirius go off together. Sirius comforts him for a little while, and then all the Ministry swoops down on Sirius all of a sudden, and Remus is like, WTF, you killed them? Remus is just, like, heartbroken. He's like, Sirius killed them, and now he's going to jail. And, like, what do you do? What would you do as Remus at that point? That moment where your three best friends, the ones you've grown up with, the only people you've ever really felt safe and comfortable around, are dead or in jail. I can't even, like, fathom how that would feel. And for the next 12 years while Sirius sits in Azkaban, Remus does very little. He tries to live his life, but it's hard. He's a werewolf, no one will hire him, no one wants to date him. He doesn't really want to date anyone. He still sort of loves Sirius, even though he is a traitor that killed his best friends. And finally he gets a job at Hogwarts. And, like, we all know what happens here. And when he realizes at the end of the year that Peter was the traitor and not Sirius, I think it's a little bit awkward at first. And I think that's why you don't see it so much in the book, because it's been 12 years. I think it would have taken a while. I think it took some effort on Sirius's part, which is why Sirius had to live in a cave for however long he lived in a cave, because Remus wouldn't accept him back right away. He's just like, times have changed, like, things are moving on. I'm not sure, like, we can be together anymore. And Sirius was like, no, we can still do this. And eventually, because Remus can't say no to Sirius, eventually they do get back together. So they're back together again, and it's lovely, and it's like they're 17 again, and they just, like, run around, and they shag all the time, and they're best friends, and they hold each other, and they make sure each other's okay in a way that neither of them have had for 12, 13 years at that point. Then Sirius goes and dies, and it... Poor Remus. Remus has the most, like, tragic storyline in the entire books, I feel. It's like, how do you even survive, Remus? Like, how is this even possible for a person to live through? Oh god, no, it would kill him. It would destroy him in, like, a way that he never even expected it to be. And he just, like, I think from that point on, he's kind of just, like, a shell of the man that he used to be. Now everything is gone. Sirius is gone, James is gone, Peter's gone. He just kind of mopes around until Tonks comes along. As much as I am a Wolfstar shipper, I feel like Tonks was good for Remus. Remus was destroyed. He had nothing, and Tonks gave him something. Tonks gave him her love, and he gave her what he could of him. A lot of it was gone. A lot of it was with Sirius, and I think she understood that. I feel like she held him up. She kept him going. And they did love each other. Not in the way that he and Sirius loved each other, but they did love each other. And when they both died, if all of them met up in the afterlife, he would have dropped Tonks in a second for Sirius. And I think Tonks would know that that would happen. She would, like, it would suck. She would hate it, but I think she knows that that's what would happen. There you go. That's, how I feel their relationship was. Yay! That took a long time. So, that was what happens when you don't give me a theme. I just ramble about Sirius and Remus. I'm gonna go because this is probably already a super long video. Miranda, I will see you on Monday. Let's look at how cool my new necklace is. Woo! Miranda, I will see you on Monday. Knox!